Hey there, everyone. Type in something if you can hear me.
Got it. Big breath in.
Can anyone hear me? I'm going to say hello. So here I am. I'm in Brooklyn. That's where I live. I practice in the middle of Manhattan, and Manhattan is the island that people mostly call New York City. Danny can hear me. Oh my God, Danny can hear me. Danny can hear me. Vega, are you there? Vega, I did this because of you. You wanted me to do this. Vega, you should answer me just so I get some moral support. So I'm going to do a little Q&A here. Randy's in New Jersey. Vega is up and running. This is my little apartment. See, in New York City, not everybody can buy their own place. One day I will. I was married for 21 years, and divorce hit me a little hard, so trying to get ahead again. But that was 2013. Look, we're all on. Vega actually is answering my Chanel. Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. That's great. So I thought what I would do is just, a lot of people ask the question, like, is the Y strap the greatest thing? According, if you ever watch Dr. Joseph Cipriano, who has, I think he has the largest YouTube chiropractic channel in this genre, and he's a really nice guy. We text, we've been in communication. He's even sent a few patients my way. His channel really took off. He went to 1 million followers in this type of chiropractic behind the scenes type of YouTube channel. And he went to 1 million followers in, I think, in a year and a half. And here I am. Probably by the end of the week, I'll hit 10,000 subscribers. This is pretty exciting for me. I didn't have such big goals. I didn't think a million yet, but now I'm enjoying this and hoping it will continue to grow. I just see someone named Matthew. Matthew says he likes my clickbait and powerful pills. Powerful pills is going to come visit us. Michi says congrats, 10,000 is cool. Yeah, so I think I'll probably hit 10,000 subscribers at the rate it's going, probably by the weekend. But getting back to the Y strap. So the Y strap, it's interesting because I've been a chiropractor since 1998, and I always did the pull where you grab the back of the head and you yank, but you can't get that much leverage. And I'm pretty strong in my hands, so I can do that and get a lot of people to go. And sometimes I have my office assistant right now. Her name is Rena, and she's been with me for about 2 years. And sometimes she'll hold the legs, and then I'll pull, boom, and you can get that whole thing to release. But about a year ago, I bought the Y strap, and Dr. Cipriano didn't invent the Y strap. It's been around for a long time. It was invented or first released by a chiropractor named Dr. Pettibon, Pettibon. And if you ever want to buy it and you're not a chiropractor, it'll be difficult because you have to show your license for them to release it. I guess they don't want everybody to run around and adjust all their friends or bring it to a bar and adjust everybody in a bar. But the Y strap, let's say in a single week or an average day, I see 20 people. I might only do the Y strap on one person a day or 2 people a day. And the reason why is not that I don't think it's exciting and it's dramatic, but to be honest with you, everything I was taught is to be specific. So if someone has compression under their skull, like up in here at the top cervical where the occiput or the bottom of the skull meets the number 1 bone called the atlas or C1, the most accurate way is to get your hand right on it and create an angle or a vector, a line of drive, a force where the drive of physics releases the bone in the direction you're hoping will do the patient benefit. Now with the Y strap, you put the Y strap behind the person's head and you're just praying that the right bones pop. And usually wherever it needs to decompress, we'll get a great decompression. And that's amazing and everybody loves it. But there is a little bit element of safety. I don't really do it. Like my mother comes in once a week to get an adjustment. I was born in New York City and she lives about 10 blocks away. And I don't do any of that type of stuff on her. I do very gentle adjustments on my mom, and she's 80, 1982, I don't know, 1940. Someone do the math for me. So I'm mostly doing the Y strap on people below 40, a few people above 40, and I don't do it on each and every visit. The occiput lift, which I think is also very exciting and dramatic, has a little bit of a oomph or like a strength move to it. But I'm also lined up on a specific bone at a specific angle with a specific thrust. So I feel a lot more confident that I can deliver a more accurate adjustment with that. Let me read a couple of questions here. So Dr. Nestle Clerget, I hope I said your name right. He's my new pen pal and we're good friends, or good new friends, and we're going to trade an adjustment one of these days. He said, I agree with you. So here, let's see. Billy Lawrence. Hi, Billy Lawrence. Too bad wasn't close to Ohio. I'd love to have you adjust me. I've been to multiple chiropractors and they just don't really do much. Can't really comment on that, Billy, because I don't know what your experience has been like. And, you know, I'm still learning every day. And one of the big scary things for me about being on YouTube, and I'm probably a little more popular on Instagram than YouTube. If you ever check me out, it's just my name, DR period. If you go to Instagram, Dr. Doug Willen, I just put it in as my handle on Instagram. And I'm always worried that people are not going to like me. I'm very sensitive to haters. So, you know, I do get my share of haters. People think either I'm messing around with the audio or that I'm just not competent. And so that almost makes me not want to participate. But, you know, about a year ago today, it was probably January or February, my 23-year-old daughter, Lily, said to me, Dad, you got to get on Instagram. And I was like, I'm not doing Instagram. I have no time for that. I'm busy. And why would I ever do that? What do you want me to post my food that I'm eating? And she said, no, you got to put behind the scenes stuff. So maybe February last year is when I started Instagram. And she was right. It really took off, especially when I started posting behind the scenes chiropractic adjustments. And then April 17th is when I started this YouTube channel called House of Chiro. And I think we posted over 300 videos. We shot 388 videos, but only posted 300 of them. And that's why you sometimes see my old chiropractic table, the one with the tape on it, because I still have, like tonight's video, because I still have tape on it because it was ripping. And now I have a new table that I like. Let's see. Randy said, can't make everyone happy. It's true. I know. I try to make people happy in my office. It means a lot to me. Ubat Kawat says, congrats. Thank you, Ubat. I hope I didn't say your name incorrectly. And I really appreciate you guys tuning into this. Does anybody have a question? I'll read right now. You can type it in right now. This is my little apartment. It's not too big. It's pretty humble. I'm not if you ever come to my office, it's a very small office. I don't know if you could picture, because you might be looking at meters. And since we're in the United States and we don't know any better, we still use feet and inches, which is barbaric. But I have 3 treatment rooms. They're 10 feet by 10 feet, which would be in meters, really 3 meters by 3 meters. And then I have another waiting area that's about the same. So I'm really working in about 450 square feet, which would be 1/3 of that in meters. And very tiny little office. I have 2 staff people, and we do a lot of activity for a small office. But to give you an idea, that small office, and the rent is going up next month, that small office costs me $6,200 a month, and it's going up to $6,500 a month next month. That's a lot of money, and that's New York City is very expensive. For a tiny little office, I pay soon next month $6,500 a month. So someone had Dr. Nestle says we all do. Don't worry about the haters. I guess so. You know, I try to focus on the positive. I am a little sensitive to negativity. Another thing I'd like to tell you about that I'm excited about is I'm relaunching my original YouTube channel, which is called The Health Hacker, and you can check that out. And those are little quick tips. And I started putting up that channel. I probably only did 140 videos on that one. And that one has been up since 2011, so a long time. I never really put that much attention on it. I didn't engage or comment or really dig into feedback. Hi, Mark Lowy. Good to see you. And those are quick little 1-minute videos like how to get rid of pink eye with apple cider vinegar, how to use a tea bag to reduce pink eye, how to get rid of a jellyfish sting bite, what to do when you get hit with a jellyfish. And so there's like a lot of little videos like that. And I'm going to start to make videos on that one now in the next week. I redid all my thumbnails in the last few weeks and I'm relaunching that site. So I hope you can check that out if that interests you. It's probably not as dramatic and exciting as the chiropractic. Thank you, Vega, for saying there's nice videos there. I think they're oldies but goodies, and I look so young in that. I'm clean shaven and haven't lost all my hair yet. I have a 23-year-old daughter named Lily and a 31-year-old son named Max. Max is a chef, and Lily just graduated college about 1.5 years ago. And she lives, actually everybody's living in Manhattan right now, so that's really nice. And I get to see them. Rizwan, thank you for wishing me well. I appreciate it. And I'm glad that you like the videos. And let's see, let me just see if I missed anybody. Matthew's over, McDavid. He says, I have a lot of clickbait. Well, there's a fine line there, Matthew. So there are some people like Dr. Jason who really does the clickbait, I think. And yeah, I try to do a little bit of clickbait. I'm trying to grow my channel, but I also want to have a little bit of integrity there too. Let's see. The Elias 808, hello from Las Vegas. Just found your channel. Curious, when doing the Y strap technique, why do you use such a short range of motion? Love the channel. Chef Max, I'm also in the chef business. Yeah, my son, if you're a foodie, he has a really good chef pedigree. His name is Max Robbins, and he worked for Thomas Keller at a famous restaurant in New York called Per Se. Then he moved out to Napa Valley and worked at the French Laundry for several years. And now he is executive chef at a new restaurant in Hudson Yards, which is a very posh area of New York City on the west side. And that restaurant just opened in November. But why do I do such a short, quick burst? And so, although I'm not going to give a chiropractic technique, but one of the things, and Dr. Nestle is listening, so I better do a good job. But when we adjust, and I'm not teaching you how to adjust, but when you adjust, what we learned kind of early on in school is that you don't want to adjust into slack. So for example, if have someone on their back, or if you really want to adjust your own back on like a foam roller and you just hold your body like this, it won't pop too well. But if you go like this and really wrap up and then go over the foam roller, what you've done is made your thoracic area really taut. And with the tautness, you can get it to release. So going back to the Y strap, first I want to pull out all the slack and then I impulse. And hopefully that last little impulse is where the adjustment is. Now, I'm not a great neck adjuster. You know, I probably do too much rotation. So there's a lot of people you'll see on YouTube that I admire. I'm like, wow, I should do better. But you would take the slack out and then just impulse. And with the Y strap, it's the same thing if you're really going to do a good job. And the one I did in this video tonight, I'm not 100% proud of because I yanked her across the table. But she was super light. But you want to pull that slack out and then impulse. Yeah, I'll type in my son's name if you want to look him up. His name is Max Robbins. And right now he's at a new restaurant that just opened in Manhattan called WS Tavern, which is named after the magazine Wine Spectator. And he is number 3 there. So number 1 would be like the chef de cuisine. And then there's another guy named Mike, who he went to culinary school with. And then there's Max. Vega said occipital lifts look like they're up there. You know, the seated, oh, look, my shirt's popping open. Horrible. Sorry about that. Yeah, no one wants to see my gray, hairy chest probably at this point. But the seated occipital lift is a little more higher risk. It's dangerous because the patient is holding themselves up. So over the years, I learned to do it in the supine position where the patient is lying on their back, and then you lift up this way. So they're lying on their back on the table. You get the same type of tilt. You get your hand and you go more I to S or inferior to superior, and you lift and tilt and go, and you lift it. Then seated is more dramatic. So it's better for YouTube and Instagram. People like to see that. But it's harder to get, and for at least for me sometimes, because it takes more speed and strength, and it's a little bit more scary. But it's more dramatic, and people like that for Instagram and YouTube. So Thealize 808 is leaving. That's okay. Hi, Jessica. And I don't know if we should sign off soon if everybody has had enough of this. It's been going on for 16 minutes. Hi, Mark Lowy. Oh, you did say hello before. So the occiput lift is very exciting. You know, the occiput, I've been in a year-long program right now. Haven't finished the first year yet, but it's for the AVCA, American Veterinarian Chiropractic Association. And I'm working on dogs and horses. We're supposed to be able to be testable material on dogs, sheep, cows. We even might have vertebral segments in giraffes, so we have to know the anatomy of all these different animals. And every few months I go down to Meridian, Texas, which is a tiny little town in Texas. And there are 2 veterinarians that own this 200-acre ranch that teach certified teachers for this certification. And we get to work on dogs and horses. They have a clinic. They're vets, but they've been doing chiropractic for 20 some odd years. And we do a lot of adjusting of the occiput on dogs and horses. It's one of the most powerful adjustments for the nervous system. And I'm even more interested in the occiput since I been studying with the veterinarian chiropractors. Someone had a question. Dr. Nestle, have to go see patients, Doc, great video. Oh, thank you, Dr. Nestle. I really appreciate your friendship. Thank you. Yeah, so one of my goals, Vega, is to adjust a giraffe one day. So I think I might have to take that show on the road. Jessica asks, where are you located? I'm at 900 Broadway, Suite 403, New York, New York. And that's right by the famous Flatiron Building, which is an iconic building in the middle of Manhattan. And it's shaped like an old iron, you know, the old iron to iron your clothes, the type that you'd have to heat up on a stove itself and then move it back over to the shirt that you were ironing. And the building is shaped like a wedge. It's really a beautiful building. I love it. And I'm about probably 100 meters from that building, but it's a good landmark. If I tell people I'm near the Flatiron Building, they know how to find it. But you can also go to my website here. I'll put that in there, and it's www.drdugwillen.com, and you can find me there. So the horse chiropractic, what's kind of interesting, well, everything's interesting about it, horse and dogs. But neurologically, one of my teachers, well, the 2 of them is Dr. Bill and Dr. Amy, but dachshunds or long body dogs have a tendency to have lower body paralysis, or not a tendency, but there's a high incidence of those type of dogs that at some point might fall or trip or cartwheel as they're jumping off a couch or onto your lap, and they injure themselves and they lose power in their lower body. So their hindquarters is paralyzed. And you would think that that's where you'd want to adjust, right? You would go into the sacrum or the pelvis or the lower back to find that misalignment. But Dr. Bill Olmsted, who is my veterinarian chiropractic mentor in Texas, where I go fly down there to see him, he's had something like, over the last 20 years, he's had close to 100 dachshunds that he's kind of bought back from that paralysis. But the main thing he adjusts is the atlas and the occiput. So he goes to the top area, the top bone, and then above it is the occiput. And neurologically, that's where the brainstem is. That's where most of the torque on the spinal cord can affect the entire body all the way down. And so his thought is never forget the occiput, or never forget the atlas and the occiput. And I'm looking forward to maybe helping a dog like that one day. Big time rush. What was the most emotional reaction have you gotten? Has anyone you've adjusted cried in joy or relief? The woman tonight almost was pretty ecstatic. That's why I said it was one of the best first adjustments ever, because she really was excited. But we get a lot of emotional release in here. Well, here I am in my apartment, but I mean in my office. Because working on people that are very stressed out, and a lot of times people are been grieving, or the death of a loved one, and they come into my office because their whole body feels rigid and they're all overwhelmed. So they come in, they get on my table, and I start working on them, and the big release can have a release of tears. Or sometimes the exact polar opposite of that is laughing. People, they're so upset that they laugh. And I kind of love what I do because of these moment-to-moment connections with people. I love to see people's reactions, to see people's joy, also to be of a support when they're sad, and to be able to hold that space for them. Polar Bear said, if you suffer from frequent tension headaches due to stress, are there any stretches or techniques you could recommend? Well, and let's see, someone else had a question. What was the most, I did that one. Nice to meet you, Scotty. Thank you for your support. So let's go to Polar Bear's question. So if you suffer from frequent tension headaches due to stress, are there any stretches or techniques you'd recommend? Well, first of all, one of the things that when I first got out of chiropractic school in 1998, we weren't in the home computer era at that point. So people didn't have personal PCs. They were just coming about. Not that nobody had them, but maybe 5% of the homes had it, and it wasn't as ubiquitous as it is today. So I saw much more misalignments or subluxations in this part of the neck or the lower back. And then as the home computer age really took off, and then the first 5 years of my practice, I started to see a lot of upper neck tension because people look into a monitor, they tilt their head, they're looking down to text, they're peering into a monitor with their head. If you peer in, you're doing this. So most of our lives today, we're sitting on transportation, either cars, subways, trains. We're sitting to eat. We're sitting at a monitor. We're texting, and our head is forward, forward, forward. And we're getting so much tension in that neck. So you really want to start to do exercises to stretch your body back. If people gave me two stretches that I would give, I love the doorway stretch, where here, see if you can find me here. So I get into a doorway. Can you believe I'm standing and showing you this? And you're stretching your arm in the doorway, and you're opening up the pec minor and the pec major, because this will open up your rib cage. Look, you see all my bands and straps? It's my little area, and and I also hang from this bar. I don't really do chin-ups. I just stretch, but I'm always trying to stretch my body open and bring my head back. And then I also like a psoas major stretch where I'm stretching the front of my hip. It would be hard for me to show you that right now, but that's for my hip. And you want to, we're so concerned with the back of our body, but the front of our body is where all the chronic pain is. So we want to open the chest, we want to open the hips, and we want to bring the neck back. I do yoga. I did a yoga class this morning. I like the hot yoga because I need the heat now that I'm in my mid 50s. But you're bringing the head back. And I think that would help you polo bear. There's a wedge that we sell in the office sometimes, although I think we're out right now, that you lay back on it on the floor and it pushes your neck up and creates that cervical curve. Egomaniac says, hey, Doc, I just wanted to say keep the faith and be patient. Your contents is good. Thank you very much. I am patient. I like what I do. So this is a lot of fun for me. And I've been enjoying this. So I'm not in a big rush. I'm trying to do good content and have integrity around it. Although I'm getting pointed out that my clickbait is a little too clicky, but I'm not showing butts and body parts so much as trying to show people's expressions and reactions. So I hope you see the difference. I'm not sure if we should continue a little longer. Anybody want to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to that? I would not want to stay past my welcome if you feel I've gone too far. Does anybody else have a question, or do you think we should sign off at this point? There are a few people left. Thumbs up for Egomaniac. I appreciate that. Vega, you live in the UK. This is past your bedtime. You have to go to bed soon. Polar Bear was actually halfway through your latest video when I saw the stream. Oh, cool. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever streamed, so I don't even know but it's working. Dr. Vega said, Dr. Cipriano. Dr. Cipriano is a nice man. I've only felt nothing but support from him. And I've enjoyed the community. Dr. Tubio, who does the great, occipital lift and is really wonderful. He has such speed and strength. He often reaches out to me through Instagram, and he might be coming to New York, and maybe we'll do a trade. He seems like a really nice guy. Rick Comerford sounds Scandinavian to me. Is that a Scandinavian, like Finnish name? Do you label your style of chiropractic? Some chiros call themselves Gonstead. Okay, so Gonstead, we studied quite a bit of Gonstead in my chiropractic school. Different chiropractic schools. I went to one in Atlanta, Georgia, or Marietta, Georgia. And Clarence Gonstead is found from Mount Horeb, Horeb, Wisconsin, and was really a iconic pioneer in the profession. And for me to graduate from my program, I had to be proficient in Gonstead. We did quite a bit of Gonstead. And I guess the reason I don't identify myself with this as a Gonstead practitioner, because to really become a Gonstead practitioner after school, you'd have to really put in another few years. And I never was a big x-ray guy. I learned how to do all the x-rays. I even had an x-ray in my first office. I just didn't take to it. I did well in all my classes with it. I got great grades. I graduated like the highest honors. So it wasn't an academic challenge for me as much as it was on principle, and it just didn't feel right to me. It's putting ionizing radiation into the body, and it just scared me. And I guess it was something I didn't want to have a heavy x-ray analysis practice. Plus, I was a massage therapist before I went to chiropractic school, which you would think would be common, but it's actually not. It's a little unusual. In my incoming class of approximately 500 students, there was only 2 massage therapists. But my palpation skills, I feel, are really advanced. I can feel almost anything blindfolded. As a matter of fact, God forbid, but if I lost my sense of vision, I would not miss a beat in my office, because I really don't even use my eyes too much. I use my fingertips. But the Gonstead technique, Gonstead technique, is heavily an X-ray technique, which I just didn't gravitate towards. We learn about 14 different techniques before we graduated, and they say to try to master 2 or 3, which I did. And Gonstead was not one of the ones I mastered, although I was proficient. Oh, that was his way of spelling Rick. Where are you from, Rick? Wolf Studios. I just came back from your office about an hour ago and got adjusted by Dr. Kathy. She was great. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Dr. Kathy doesn't like to be on video. So when she started working with me, her name is Dr. Kathy Raymundi, and she started working with me full-time in August, so about 7 months ago. And before that, she used to cover my office when I was out of town on a trip. And she's my chiropractor. She adjusts me at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. And I think she's fantastic. So I trust her with my own neck. And in 2017, I herniated 4 discs in my neck. And I still have a thumb that's always numb. And I had quite a bit of atrophy in my left forearm from it. So for me to say that I would let her work on my around and through and in my neck herniations, I really trust her. She's really good. She's been a chiropractor for, I think, 9 years, and she's a young mom. She has a 2-year-old at home named James, and she's lovely. I really feel lucky to have her working with me as a colleague and as a friend. Scotty74, I have a crunchy neck and I can hear and feel the bones grinding when I turn my head. What should I ask my chiro to do? Well, something like that, I hope it's okay if I call you Scott or Scotty, something like that, you're going to need to do a lot of flexibility and strength. You know, usually with chronic pain, one of the first levels to do is, I think, and I'm a chiropractor, so you could laugh at me, but this is how my mind goes. But one of the first things that I like to do is align the spine. And that could take anywhere between 4 and 10 visits, and try to get the spine. And think of that game Django with the wooden blocks. That's what I see when I look at someone. I'm like, oh my God, the block is going this way and there's one going this way. And I try to push them in and get them lined up. But the muscles might be weak, and the flexibility of the soft tissue, the ligaments and the tendons, might need a lot of work too. So if you're really looking at a comprehensive approach to getting long-term success with a chronic neck pain or chronic back pain, you have to look at it on more than just like throwing all the responsibility on the chiropractor to give you a few cracks and hope it all changes. Because if your neck or back went out like last Tuesday, maybe I just need one crack and I can fix it. But what if it's been less than perfect for years? So I can adjust it, but you probably are going to need to bring in some strength and flexibility too. So I'm a big proponent of stretching and strengthening chronic areas. Vega says that injury must be hard for a chiro. Yes, it really is. I was in horrible pain. I did it February 17th, 2017. It was a Thursday. I think it was, or February 20th. You can look it up if it was a Thursday or not. But I got home and the pain was so bad I didn't sleep that night. And it was really weird because I had to hold my arm up. It was the only position I could get in. So I was like walking around like this and I couldn't put my arm down. It was just wicked pain. And the next day I went and got an MRI and there was 4 herniated discs. And the neurologist said to me, I think that's just 20 years of wear and tear. But I was a rugby player and a wrestler and a football player. And I had a bunch of head injuries and concussions as a teenager playing those sports. So I think there's been quite a bit of abuse. But chiropractors do have a lot of disability issues or issues with chronic pain because we lean over a table for years and years. And I've been a chiropractor since 1998. So I'm always leaning over a table, putting force into people's bodies with a twisted bent over position, which is not really good. Ego Maniac asked, are heavier, bigger people harder to adjust? Usually they are, but sometimes it surprises you. So I would say 9 out of 10 times I'm like, oh crap, there's a big guy. Like, what's today? Today is Wednesday. Friday last week, I had 3 guys that were over 350 pounds that almost came in within the same hour. And that's how I hurt myself in 2017, was on a big dude. So I was really nervous, but I try to do more speed, and I really am mindful about it. But once in a while, you get a big guy, and they go so easy, and you just can't believe how easy they go. So it's for me, it's a little scary because I love to deliver. I want people to have a wow experience when they're in my office. So I usually don't hold back. I just go for it. But at the same time, I'm scared that I'm going to hurt myself. Wolfie says, these live streams are great. I hope you do some more in the future. Oh, thank you. This is my very first one. And my friend Vega suggested I do it. And I've been trying to figure out how to get that done because the technology part was a little tough for me. R.Baya said, what would you say to the fact that scientists don't consider chiropractic to be evidence-based medicine? And, it's fun. That's a good question. Chiropractic's been around, I forget what year it started, like 1868. It's been around for a long time. It's funny, when chiropractic started, medicine was very barbaric. It was the time when, people were doing surgeries with not much anesthesia. And, I have my counter arguments for all of this, but the fourth leading cause of death in the United States is medical malpractice or properly prescribed medicine. So the first leading cause of death is heart disease. Second leading cause of death is cancer. Third is accidents. And fourth is properly prescribed medicine. So it means that you're getting a drug interaction. Now, my malpractice insurance, and I have a $1 million policy, I think costs me like $3,000 a year, which is really low. And the reason why is not because the insurance malpractice companies like chiropractors, but it's because statistically, there's not a lot of claims on us. So yes, we're not evidence-based double-blind placebo study, which would be really hard to recreate because you wouldn't be able to get two chiropractors to adjust the same exact way with the same amount of force on the same type of person. But, it's a profession that I don't think will ever get full confirmation from the medical or scientific community, but we sure have a lot of patients that love us. And I would challenge you to also look at, for me, medicine is more of that safety net that we all need when we're in that time of crisis. But if you rely on medicine to be your form of wellness care or your health care, I think you're making a mistake, because I don't think it is at its best in that way. I think the best thing to do is go as long as you can, as healthy as you can, by eating right, taking care of your body, and doing the self-care that might support you, and use medicine as crisis care, not health care. And hopefully we don't ever have to be in that situation where we have to make a choice, where we have to make a life and death decision about our health. Someone named Patcha. Hola, Doc. Hola. Where are you from? Ever had someone in so much pain they just couldn't go within the adjustment? Yes. Vega said a lot of experience-based evidence now on YouTube. Wolfel Studio says scientists can't even cure the common cold, so I'd be skeptical of their skepticism. Yeah, it's funny because I really don't have any fight in me to convert people. So let's say I'm at a dinner party, and this happens to me a lot, and there's always some like knucklehead that wants to fight me verbally because I'm a chiropractor and he doesn't believe in what I do. And I just don't have any fight in me. I don't care. I am so stinking busy in my office. I just have more people that I can see in a day that love what I do, that I don't really feel like I would need to convert anybody or fight with anybody. And something, if I was at that dinner party and for 2 hours I got into this crazy argument with this person that knows so much about how I'm wrong, guess what? At the end of the evening, he's not going to come over to my side and believe me. He's not going to even go, wow, that was really interesting talking to the chiropractor. Now I believe everything he says. No, he's going to leave that party hating me and feeling the same exact way he did before the party. So I really don't care. I just try to serve the people that are in front of me that want to be in my office. And I don't talk anybody to come into my office that doesn't feel like it's a good fit. So I missed a question, though, that looked interesting. No, we should be skeptical of. Someone said our bias said, should we be skeptical of all scientific evidence? No, 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 no. I just think you should really clarify between disease care and wellness care. And there's two different things. I mean, think of this like a river. Like you go through life and you're on this river and you're floating through the river, and one day you can get old or infirmed or sick or injured or in a big crisis, and don't come in for an adjustment on that day. Go to the hospital, get the medicine that you need, get the surgery that you need. Thank goodness that is there, and they're doing the best they can, and they are evolving and doing fantastic. I love it. I mean, I like that there's amazing medical care, but I don't want that to be my game plan. I don't want my whole game plan to go through life waiting to get sick. So I have heart disease in my family. Everybody, grandparents have heart disease, diabetes, and I'm trying my best not to go down that path. I'm watching what I eat. I exercise. I trying to handle my stress. I'm minding my health as best I can, and against all the genetics and blueprint that I have against me. So we should be so grateful that there's great scientific evidence-based medicine, but I don't think it should be your wellness plan. It should be your crisis care and your medical plan when things go really wrong. Let's see. So in other words, the answer is that that's what most people call a conspiracy theory. I think that part of the wrong consume people to pay money to use unproven methods. Thank you, Optimus. Oh, Optimus. Good to say hello. One of the best proofs chiropractic work is videos, Aussie Dr. Ian fixing an American eater. Yeah, I heard Dr. Ian, I love his videos. I heard he's not on much anymore. I think he got into a lot of political problems with posting his videos out of Australia. He looks like, I think he's Gonstead too. Amazing chiropractor. I've learned a lot from just watching a few of his videos that I was able to find. Our bias at 1890s. You know, I really don't have much fight in me with, you know, it's not like my profession is better than another profession. It's just what it is. I try to do the best job I can at what I do. And I constantly refer people to medical doctors. Not every day, but every few days, someone will come in and let's say, oh, and this was one of the questions I missed. So someone comes in and they're literally cannot get on my table. They're in so much pain. They have most likely a herniated disc. They shouldn't be in my office because I'm not a crisis care doctor. I can do a lot with crisis to a point, but one of the reasons why our school is almost 4 years long is because we're really supposed to be able to differential diagnose, which means that we should be able to tell who should be in our office and who should not be in our office. So if someone comes in and they have what's called a hot disc or herniated disc, and I can tell that they are way beyond what my wellness office can do, I want them to go to the emergency room. And I feel really good about that. I love a good referral. I had this guy maybe 12 years ago come in on New Year's Eve day. And for some reason I was open that day. And his name is Tom. And Tom came in and he lays down on my table. And you know how I like to grab the ankles and look? And my thumb sunk in to his ankle like clay. And it dented the ankle. And it pulled my thumb out. And the ankle dent stayed from my thumbprint, which is called pitting edema, Pitting, edema, which is fluid in the ankle. And I flipped him over and I took his pulse, and his pulse was in tachycardia, which means rapid heartbeat. Instead of it being, you know, a resting heart rate for a man or a woman should be somewhere between 60 and 80, perhaps. Now, if they're a marathon runner, maybe down to 35 or 40. But, you know, most of us are going to be 60 to 80, but whether you're a man or a woman. And his was way above 180. I couldn't even count it. It was like, was his heart rate. So I immediately told him I'm calling an ambulance. I called 911 and we sent him to the hospital. And as he was leaving my New York City office on the way to the hospital, he had a full-blown heart attack in the ambulance. But they were right there with the crash team. They hit him and they saved him. So I was excited about that, about figuring it out and setting him to the right office, which was not my office. So Wolfie says, it's not worth fighting. I had my first adjustment. I feel so much better. I spent a lot of time in my past struggling with the science. Yeah. When we're in chiropractic school, they say it's a triad. They say it's science, art, and philosophy is what makes up chiropractic. And I like that. The sciences that we study, we did cadaver studies for 2 years. Where we work on dead bodies. We take all my medical classes were taught by medical doctors. They weren't taught by chiropractors. So my pathology course and microbiology and histology were all taught by retired medical doctors that were professors on staff. And that's your science part. And the vertebral anatomy is the science part. And then the art is the touch of being able to feel something and know where your hands are, and being able to know every little landmark of every little bone that you're going to work on. And then the philosophy is why to do it. Like, why do we work on people? What's the importance of doing this type of healthcare? And so I kind of like that triad of science, art, and philosophy. Let me look at a couple of more questions. Our bias said, I respect your opinion, what you do. I just think that the overlap with science denial is really disturbing. There's some of it in the comments. Yeah. Our bias said, D.D. Palmer, the inventor of chiropractic, for instance, was a magnetic healer who claimed that the ghost taught him chiropractic. So our bias, I can see know a lot of the history. I don't know if I agree with every part of what you're saying. Vanessa, I have vertigo since last Tuesday and it doesn't want to go away. So one thing you could try doing, Vanessa, is you could look up on YouTube the Epley maneuver, which is something to see if you might have like little crystals that are, and you'll have to look it up. There's tons of YouTube videos on it, and that might free up the crystals in the eustachian tube, and you could probably do that to yourself. Eric E said, hey doctor, how are you? What made you decide to do chiropractic? So I was 15 years old and I was playing American style football. And I say that because there's people from other countries that call football soccer. So in my country, it's American style football. And I had a bad collision where I was knocked unconscious. It was like my third concussion by the time I was 15 in contact sports. And I really messed my neck up. So the concussion healed in about a day or two of, as far as like headaches and dizziness and nauseousness. But my neck was so bad I couldn't move without severe pain. And my mother took me to a chiropractor in our town, and he took off the soft neck roll that was on my neck and gave me an adjustment, and I was feeling better much faster. So I chalked it up as an experience of something that I was interested in. I was only 15, but years later, I went to chiropractic school. I went to chiropractic school when I was 29, so it was a long time later. And in my 20s, I was a dancer and an actor and performer in New York City, did a lot of theater, and I also did a lot of stand-up comedy and things like that. So Jake says, I cracked my neck like 45 times a day for the last 10 years. My neck feels like it's a good condition. Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to meet you, Jake, to really know. There seems to be some intensity happening between the medical point of view and the wellness point of view. See, that's something I really don't have much fight in. So I really don't need to defend it. I don't care. Maybe as you get older, you just don't care. I have no energy to get into argument or fight with anybody tonight. And I really respect that you have different opinions. My question is, why would you care to be on a call or on this type of platform, if you know that it's just something that you just get you upset. So if it's like rouse you up and it's different, and D.D. Palmer was a magnetic healer, then, if that's how you enjoy yourself, is to be with something that creates more stress. One thing I want to do after this is, besides eat, is I want to enjoy my evening. I don't want to be all worked up because I was arguing with someone. So I'm just not going to go there. Polar Bear says, your videos relax me, Doc. Thanks a lot. So Arbai says she's absolutely for chiropractic. She says, what you think you do is great. I think there's damage to be done with science denial. I don't have science denial. For a chiropractor, I'm pretty sharp guy. I really understand so much about immunology, disease epidemiology. I understand about histology. I've dissected human bodies. I was an anatomy professor for a couple of years at Pace University here in New York City. I can hold my own, especially structurally, with anatomy and physiology. I'm a professor. They vetted me and hired me for their scientific, academia. I was a adjunct professor for a couple of years. I didn't hang in there long enough because it really took away from my practice to be there a couple of mornings a week. But I love science and I love that. But I also, and I had good enough grades to go to medical school. I went to an Ivy League school as an undergraduate. I went to Cornell University. It's one of the 8 Ivy League schools. So I did not go to chiropractic school because I was a dummy or because I couldn't get into med school. I went to chiropractic school because I like that type of healthcare. I did not want to go to medical school and be more in that world. Allopathic medicine is not exciting for me. I don't want to work with people that are already at the end of their arc where they're now in crisis care. And I'm so glad that exists, but it's just not for me. I'm more excited for my practice where people come in and say, I'm just starting to feel a little off. What should I do? That's my favorite way to spend my day. And I try to do that really well. And like I said, I'm so grateful that there's medicine out there and amazing medical talents that I can send my patients to, my family to, and would be there when I need it in the future. So she said, I think you're done with complicated. I liked. All right, thank you. Appreciate you coming in. I do like the, like the interest of thought, the discussing different things. Transfer Hunter, love your channel. Thank you, Transfer. We still have actually more people are on than were on before, so that's kind of fun. Does anybody have any questions about either the channel itself? Nuija Najim, hi all, hello. Polar Bear says, shouldn't have to explain yourself. You treat people and they reflect, they are happy, keep it up. People are free to make their own decisions in life. Thank you. Yeah, I one of the things about, I'm 55 years old. I've been doing this for a while. And one of the things as I get older is, I'm really comfortable with myself. I like what I do. I love my office. I mean, it's hard to wake up at 5:30 some days when it's pitch black and freezing out. But as soon as I get to my office, I'm excited. I love the people that come in. I really enjoy the space. I like my staff. We have fun. We play music. We dance around. We tell stories. And so I really love what I do. I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to switch careers. I love my career. Let's see. Ego said, before you start with people in the consultation, do you explain, hey, I might have to touch some sensitive areas? Yeah. Oh, well, what, like, can you be specific, Ego? Like, do you mean like touching their butt, their buttocks, their glutes? Do you mean, or do you mean that I might have to touch their pain? So I think those are two different type of questions, but I can answer both of them. So I guess I think people can really see your intention. So when I talk to people, first of all, they filled out their sheet of paper with their problems. Let's see, what did he said? Yeah, well, he said, yep. So I'll just answer that. Is there an age limit in your patients to apply for treatment, problems with soft bones, etc.? Well, soft bones would be kind of a disease, like, a disease condition like osteomalacia or something like that. And that would be on their form, and that might be the reason they come in. But, a lot of people make fun of that technique that I do called the activator because it's not loud and it's not cracking and they don't think it's real chiropractic. But I really love having different techniques, because if someone came in with either osteomalacia, like a softening of the bone, or osteoporosis, let's say they're a 90-year-old woman with brittle bones, I'm not going to set up and do an occiput lift on her or a Y strap if she's 86 years old. I'm so thankful that I studied a technique that's gentle and precise that I could do to someone, either if it's a small child or an older person that might be vulnerable to a full-on chiropractic adjustment the old-fashioned way. So I love having choices. As far as touching, like something like the buttocks, it's funny because when I was early on in my practice, they instill in you at school, like, be so careful. If you're going to put your hand anywhere near buttocks, you need to have your assistant come in and watch. But I guess I'm just so focused right now. People come in and they know who I am. I have a reputation. I've been doing this for 22 years. I probably do, like last year, I have it written down. I did 6,543 treatments last year. So over 22 years, if you do the math on that, well, last year was a little busy, but I've done well over 110,000 treatments. So someone sits across from me and says, it's my lower back, and I don't just caress their butt, but I go through, I touch their lower back. I'll, and you can watch, because I do this in the videos. I'll say, is it okay if I dig in here? Or I'm about to do this. Is that okay? And they say, go for it. So everybody's there to get worked on, and they know who I am, and they see my reputation. So I'm like determined and dead set that I'm doing the right thing, and I don't get weird, and I don't make it weird. So I think that comes across. Let's see what somebody says. There's an age limit. Most chiropractors I watch don't use the occipital lift, but when I try it on my friends, than any of the adjustment. So why don't chiropractors use it? Like I said, Jake, I didn't learn the occipital lift in a seated position. When I was in school, we did it supine. So the patient would lie on their back on the chiropractic table, and we tilt their head, and you get under the occiput and you lift. And that way their whole body, they can relax. And you just lift, and you can get a great pop. Actually, if you look at my Instagram, I have tons of those on my Instagram right now. I'm going to pull it up and show it to you if I can. Here's one right here. I don't know if you can see it, but do you see that? Watch how I set her up. So I turn her head, I come from inferior to superior, I tilt it just like the seated one, and boom, I just hit it, and it cracked really big. So it's the same. But then I decided, being a little bit of a showman, and now that I'm on Instagram and YouTube, that I wanted to do the seated one, which I knew how to do, but I'm always looking for the path of least resistance. So in my office, if nobody's watching and I don't have the film on, I often just do the occiput lift supine. They're already relaxed. They're lying down. They've totally let their body go. And I get zero resistance. And I think it's a little safer too. So that's just me. But like someone like Dr. Tubio, who I'm friends with, we DM each other quite a bit on Instagram. And he, as I said a little earlier, he's probably going to come visit me when he's in New York City. He has a lot of friends there. We're going to do some trades. He's much faster than me. He's got fast hands. And I think speed is a big thing to get some of those hard to get spots to go. I think I have a decent speed, but I'm not as fast as Dr. Tubio. Dr. Tubio has fast hands. And Dr. Kathy, who works in my office, Dr. Kathy Ramundi, she's very fast. She's very tiny, and I think speed is one of her ways that she surprises people. She can adjust big people, but it's with her speed and her acceleration. And like I said, I have a good touch. I think some of my biggest skills is finding the spots and working on them. I really have good palpation skills. I have a lot of experience. I've been doing this a long time, but I'm not as fast as Dr. Tubio. Dr. Tubio is so fast. And you really need incredible speed to get the occiput lift in the seated position on a lot of people. Now, if they're easy to adjust, it doesn't take a lot of speed. But if they're the hard to get release, you need the speed and oomph that Dr. Tubio can create in such a short distance. Like, did you ever see like a martial artist break a board and they can like be so close to the board and they go like, and the board breaks. So someone's holding the board and they just go and break it. Well, I never did that because I didn't do martial arts, but Dr. Tubio has that type of speed. So Jake says, occipital lift separate you from the other chiropractors on YouTube. Thank you. I mean, I try to do a good job. It's not my best move, but I'm trying to get better at everything. Let's see. Why do you only do occipital lifts on? Well, so he says, why do I do occipital lifts on like 60% of the videos? I have right now close to 300 videos that I put up since April 17th. And I would say that the occipital lifts I've probably done like 50. So that's a lot less than 60%, meaning 50 of the videos have occipital lifts and 250 don't. So, but I like it. It's a cool adjustment and it's helped growing my channel too. And people like it. I'm trying to get better at it. Trying to also, deliver some entertainment so that people come back and want to interact and be into this. Someone said 3/3 said, hello, 3/3, but what inspired you to start your channel and filming treatments? As I said earlier, I've always been in entertainment. My practice is in entertainment. I was a actor and performer and dancer in my early 20s. I did a lot of stand-up comedy as an amateur. I wasn't very good, but I tried. And I'm a little bit of a ham. I like to be in front of a camera. So years went by and I wasn't doing much of anything creative or artistic in that way. And then my 23-year-old daughter said, Dad, you should do Instagram. You'd be good at it and you'd have fun with it. And it would probably help your practice. And that was a year ago. So just in the past year, I threw myself into it. I took my Instagram to 16,000 followers in about 10 months now. Hasn't even been a year. And the Instagram should be hitting 10,000 this week. I know that's nowhere near some of the giants like Dr. Tubio and Dr. Cipriano and Dr. Mondragon and Jason and all those guys, but I'm just doing the best I can. I can't really concern myself with having as big a channel as they do. I just can only do the best I can on mine. But maybe that brings me back to the occipital lift, which is trying to make my videos more entertaining. Eric E said, I love your channel and the way you treat your patients. When I come from Montreal, I'll come for an adjustment. Oh, thank you. I love Montreal. Montreal is such a beautiful city. I went there a couple of years ago to the Laugh Festival. There's a whole week festival that you guys do with comedy and stand-up comedy, and that was a lot of fun. And had some great meals there too. Talking Spit, Dr. Doug, blow me a kiss because it's my birthday and love your video. Oh, there you go. I'm going to blow you a kiss. Happy birthday. Is today your actual birthday? So your birthday is February 26th. That's awesome. All right. So that's why I kissed. If everybody felt the kiss, that's what it is. Hola, soy españols. Are you from Spain itself? Like Madrid or Barcelona? Where are you from? Antagos, I get a question about chiropractic treatment in general. It's just meant to provide relief for a short period of time, or is it supposed to provide permanent relief? That's a good question. I'll come to that in a second. Then Gambari said, with a strong 90% calcification, 4 vertebrae of the neck, would you still recommend an adjustment with a 71-year-old man? Yeah, so I'm going to answer that one first, Gambari, Sep, which is, as I mentioned earlier, my mom, I've been adjusting my mom pretty regularly for 24 years. I've been a chiropractor 22 years, but we started adjusting while we were in chiropractic school. And I used to just do all sorts of cracking on her. And I still crack her middle back, but I don't adjust her neck anymore because she has stenosis and she is close to 80. I forget how old she is. Born in 1940. But so with the 71-year-old, who is it? Your father or your grandfather or your friend? I would start with the light technique. The light technique really works. It does not make a good video. So when I do the little clicking, people watch it and they get angry and they leave me horrible comments and say, what is that crappy instrument and what a quack. But do you know that there's more research on the activator, which has been around for 35 years. And I first qualified at their mastery level 22 years ago. So I've been using that instrument a long time. And the instrument itself has evolved. So I'm on generation 5 of the instrument. But the activator has more research than any technique in chiropractic, more than Gonstead, more than anybody. And the reason why is because you can get better data from it. Because if I deliver an adjustment with my hands, how is the next chiropractor going to be able to replicate that? So we can't have a chiropractor and do any type of research model where chiropractors have inter-chiropractic reliability and able to produce that same adjustment over and over again to do any type of research. But with an activator, you can hold it into a jig or a drill press and lower it and impulse and deliver the same exact vector, angle, force, put the setting exactly the same, and reproduce it between doctor to doctor. Actually, you don't even need a doctor. You lower it and release it. So over the years, 35 years, there's more research on that one technique than any other technique. And that's the one that I would do on the 71-year-old man. Why inflict, especially as he's fragile at this point and maybe possibly unstable in certain segments? I would never want to hurt him. And I believe that the activator technique would help him. So I would do a few treatments with him, with the activator, and it's gentle enough to do it on a 71-year-old who's in chronic pain, and we start to see some changes. And if we do some changes, maybe I'll do some soft tissue, I'll massage him, I'll get in there and I'll dig it out with my thumbs and my elbows and work on him hard on his soft tissue, but do the osseous or bony adjustments with the activator. And make sure I'm taking care of people. I mean, you know, I do put up a lot of videos now between Instagram and YouTube, but my number one concern, and most of the adjustments I do are not filmed. You're only seeing like 3% of them. Most of what I'm doing all day long is just trying my very best to protect and take care of and safeguard people. Let's see. I've got to go, Doc. Egomaniac, thank you. Thanks for hosting this. Keep watching. Talking Spit says, I love the activator. The activator really works. Lamar Lott. Hi, Lamar. What's the difference between massage therapist and a chiropractor? Big difference. Gambari says, thank you so much. Thank you. Is the activator your choice? My activator is one of my favorite techniques. I love it. I feel kind of bilingual. Like there's some people that practice activator their entire careers and would never do any popping and cracking. And there's some people that like popping and cracking, would never do the activator. I love both techniques so much that I got proficient in both at a very high level. And I love when someone comes into my office, and it could even be a husband and wife, and the husband goes, crack the hell out of me. I want everything cracked. And then the wife goes, I'm scared of being cracked. I didn't even want to come today. So guess what? If I could wow both of them and they both leave in less pain and happy and energized and feeling great and hopeful because I did one technique on this guy and a different technique on his spouse, that's the best. That's what I want to do. There was that one that I missed. Massage and chiropractic. I mean, I actually am a massage therapist. I went to massage school before I went to chiropractic school, and I studied massage and got licensed in massage, and I did it for almost 6 years. Um, and massage, well, it depends on where you go to school, but it's either 2 years or 1 year or 3 years, depending what part of the world you're studying in and how much study you need to do license requirement. But a massage therapist isn't a doctor, and they really can't diagnose and treat. So in New York State, where I practice, I'm known as a physician, a chiropractic physician. I can't cut the skin and I can't prescribe medication, but I am a portal of entry. And what that means is if someone hurts themselves and decides to come to my office, they do not need to see any other doctor first to get permission. They can enter from the street into my office, and I can decide whether I'm going to work on them or not. So that's a much higher tier of medicine or healthcare than someone that needs a referral. So a physical therapist doesn't have that level. They're amazing. I love physical therapists. I'm not putting that down. I'm just saying that a physical therapist can't make that decision with their license. And that's the difference between me and a physical therapist. And a physical therapist is much more trained than a massage therapist as far as treating musculoskeletal injuries. In many parts of the world, at least. So I can't speak for everywhere, but physical therapist is an amazing career. It's great. So I have to, the reason why my schooling is so long is because if someone comes in with low back pain, I have to be able to determine whether I can adjust their back or whether they have prostate cancer that metastasized to the lumbars, or have they been a smoker for 30 years smoking cigarettes, and the neck pain that they're feeling is from bronchiogenic carcinoma, which is a lung cancer that after it left the lungs had metastasized and is chewing up their neck and deteriorating the bones in their neck. And the one thing I don't want to do is adjust into their neck and crack bones that are disintegrating from cancer. So I have to know levels of oncology, not to treat, but to diagnose and to differential diagnose, which is separating what I can work on and what I shouldn't work on. And I think that's another one of my strong points, is that I really took that seriously when I was in school. And I don't know if all students do, but I really wanted to be able to tell people who they should see next. And it might not be me. I might look at someone and go, you know, I'm not going to adjust your neck today. I think I need you to go get a full medical checkup. And if that's okay, then come back. So I hope that helps. So who else works in your office we haven't met? Oh, well, Dr. Kathy Ramundi just started working with me at the beginning of August, and she's a chiropractor that's been around for about 9 years as a chiropractor. She has a young family with a 2.5-year-old named James, who's super cute. And then my rock and my heart and soul of my practice is my office manager, Rena. And Rena Polanco is from the Bronx, and she's a single mom with 2 kids, an 8-year-old and a 14-year-old. And Rena is one of the most amazing women I've ever met. And she just started nursing school, so she's going to work on that to the best of her ability over the next couple of years. But that was on her list of things to do. And once in a while, you'll see her in one of my videos, like holding someone's legs down. And you can usually hear her talking in the background in a lot of the YouTube videos. And then I have 2 part-time people now, Vanessa and Meredith, that come in and help me in the rooms doing therapy. And I have 2 massage therapists, Josh and Igor, but they only come in on Sundays and Mondays. Talking Spitz says, I want someone to walk on my lower back. There's walking on the lower back, if you're not injured, is fun. It kind of works. It's good. I adjusted someone today. Was it today? No, yesterday. We had, Vega, you'd like this. We had 2 people visiting from Cornwall, and they were in New York, but they've been watching the video, so they included visiting me on their trip. And this guy, Ben, it was Ben and Kirsty, who I really like, and they came in kind of just from the YouTube thing. But I adjusted. Ben is a big guy. He used to play rugby. And I got on his back with my knees, and I climbed up like with my knees on him, and I went, and adjusted his thoracic with 2 knees and no hands. So that was kind of fun. We caught that on video, so maybe I'll put that up next week. BF says, I want to preface this by saying that I'm a believer, not chiropractor. What is your response to people who claim that chiropractors are frauds? Yeah, we were talking a little bit about this before, BF. What can I say? There's a lot of people that feel if something's not, science-based evidence medicine, which, I have mixed feelings about that, but no, it's not ever going to convince the science-based medicine people. But the science-based medicine has its problems too, because I don't remember what the stat is. Someone would have to look it up but something like 80% of the world's supply of antibiotics is used by the United States. So we're overprescribing. The 4th leading cause of death in the United States is prescription medicine, behind heart disease, cancer, and accidents. And then 4th is properly prescribed medication that people have adverse reactions to. So that's the properly, or the science-based evidence profession, or allopathic medicine, is something that is the 4th leading cause of death in the United States, and we way overprescribe here in this country. And there's that. And at the same time, I'm going to go to a hospital when I get hurt. So I'm not one of these guys that doesn't like it. I'm just take it for what it is, which is, for me, medicine is going to be my crisis management platform. And if you look at it that way and say, okay, fantastic, I'm going to go to the hospital when I'm in crisis. I just got in a car accident, or I have a horrible, horrendous disease and I need that level of care. Fantastic. I'm so glad that that's there. But how are you going to live your life for the 40 years up to the point where your body breaks down, where you need that type of crisis care? And are you going to let yourself just totally go? Or are you going to get yourself, 50 kilograms overweight, or, 80, 90 pounds overweight? Or are you going to let your body totally disintegrate and deteriorate and decompose, waiting for that time when you need crisis or medical care? And some people do. They just go, hey, I'm so glad I have that safety net, and that's how I'm going to use it. But I think you should look at it as apples and oranges. I mean, two different fields. One is healthcare, and the other is disease care. And healthcare is doing the best you can to eat right, stay in shape, doing self-care, getting massage, acupuncture, chiropractic to deal with a lot of your smaller ailments, and then use disease or crisis care or medical care for crisis, and not have that be your goal, but or a definite destination, but to be there when nothing else is available, and you need that. And thank God we live in a time period of our lives where most of us can get that type of crisis care. But it shouldn't be your day-to-day game plan. You shouldn't wake up and go, I can really just be a total mess up in my life, waiting for the time when it totally crumbles and falls apart. And then I'll just go get medicine and prescriptions and drugs and surgery to fix it all. It's a horrible game plan. It'd be better to keep yourself as well as you can for as long as you can, knowing that that's there when you need it. Let's see. Someone said, what type of sleeping position do you recommend? Well, number one is to sleep. But back is the least stressful on your spine, with very little to no pillow. And then side position is the next in that hierarchy. And sleeping in your stomach is the worst for your neck and back and spine. Hello, Andrea Fumagalli. I think she's Italian and I don't speak Italian. Rick James. Hey, Rick James. What's up? Thank you for coming by, Rick James. Let's see. Oh, Randy's here. So Randy's from Palm Springs. He's enjoying the nice weather. Lamar, what's the difference between massage therapists? There was one I missed before that I know. Oh, here it is. It's from Intego. I don't know if Intego's still there, but he had a question that I did want to come back to, which is a question that he said about chiropractic treatment in general. Is it just meant to provide relief for a short period of time, or is it supposed to provide permanent relief? Well, with this musculoskeletal body, which is what we're talking about, our skeleton and our muscles, a lot of people come into me and I'm very confident within 2 to 6 treatments, I can get them out of their symptom and their pain that they arrived with. So someone comes in and they go, I can't really turn my head to the left, to the right, it's no problem. I have this kind of pain right here. And usually the first visit, I can reduce it 40 to 50%. And then over a few visits, I can get it to where it's not going to be there, where they don't notice the symptom and they feel pretty good. And they can leave and I never see them again. And guess what? It'll probably come back because, we sit at computers, we sit at desks, we're under stress, we're living lives that are creating this. And there's different levels of chiropractic care. So there's the chiropractic care that's working on just getting rid of the immediate symptom or the chronic symptom. And that will have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So you come in for a few visits, whether it's 2 visits, 6 visits, or 12 visits, or however long it takes. And then you feel better, hopefully, and you get better. But then there's also maintenance. So I have a lot of people that just come once a month or once every 2 weeks because they like feeling the way they did when I got them well, and they want to maintain that. In my specific office, I don't make them do that. Like I don't say put big pressure on them or make them pay up front for a year. Some people do, and that's okay. I just never had, that wasn't my style. So I do suggest to them, why don't you come back in a month and let's do a tune-up? And I call them a tune-up, like you're tuning up a car. And some people take me up on it, and other people, if I let you listen to my voicemail today, you would hear, any day of the week, you'll hear people that'll leave a voicemail and go, hey, doc, I don't know if you remember me, but I was there like 5 years ago, and then I went to do a show in Vegas, and I came back, and now my neck hurts again. So I don't know if I remember them or not after 5 years and, how many 25,000 appointments in between. But they come in and I work on them again. And some people come in only when they're hurt, and some people come in for maintenance. And the maintenance is, to me, it's kind of like flossing your teeth, right? So I was just at the dentist today. I almost didn't want to do this because I just had a root canal tonight. Man, it was painful. I'm glad it's finished, but I didn't know it would be so much pain afterwards. So it's been hurting today since I got home. But let's look at flossing your teeth. So how often should you floss your teeth? And I once heard someone say, as long as you want to keep them. So if you want to keep your teeth, flossing really helps. So, but flossing is kind of a wellness thing, right? Immediately, it doesn't affect the life of your tooth in that exact moment. So it's not like you floss your tooth and therefore you get to keep it that day. It's more of a long-term commitment. It's a philosophy. It's a concept of, if I floss my teeth and my gums, I might have a chance to keep them healthier longer. And so for me, chiropractic, that phase of chiropractic is a philosophical choice. Like I see the importance of taking stress off my nervous system and allowing my brain and my body to stay connected through the nervous system impulse from the brain, spinal cord, out to every organ and cell of the body. And therefore, I don't want to live my life for too long a period of time with that nerve interference in place. So I have some people that like that, and they come in for periodic tune-ups. And then I have other people that just use me for crisis. Hope that answers it. If not, I tried. Hi, Doug. How often do you self-crack? Well, that's such a personal question, Andrea. Hey, Dr. Willen, can't wait to see you Friday. I'll be in town for a ballroom competition. Oh, George, I put your video up the other day. Did you see it? George is awesome. George is a ballroom dancer, and you're like a scientist, aren't you? Vadu's here, Mr. Timestamp himself. So Talking Spit says, how much? Well, chiropractic school is 4 years. I also did college. Mike Ike asked, do I accept insurance or cash only? I'm not in any insurance plans anymore. When I first got out of school, I was in 17 insurance plans. And over the years, they pretty much fired me, not vice versa. Although some of them, like Blue Cross Blue Shield started paying me $4 a visit, and sometimes as low as like $1.17. So I got out of that plan. So right now I'm in no plans, but I'm still one of the least expensive chiropractors in my area, from what I'm told. Nuija Najim said, "Is there any kind of cases which are hard to deal with?" Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll give you an example. Diabetes will often express pain in the limbs, pain, numbness, where people don't feel their toes. They sometimes have chronic extremity pain, and no matter how much I adjust them, they still have diabetes underneath that. So someone like that, if they feel relief, and that goes back to that maintenance thing. So if someone is diabetic and have chronic pain or neuropathies where they feel sensation or numbness into their fingers and toes, and if chiropractic helps them, they might choose to use that as part of their maintenance plan, part of their wellness package. Just like they might go to a massage and they might do exercise and they might get stretched at someone that stretches them, and they might use chiropractic. But I'm not going to like reverse that pain, because the real cause of it I can't help, or haven't been able to. Someone said, "How much schooling did you have to go through?" I said that 4 years. Vadu, let's see, is there any kind of cases? Peripheral neuropathy, right, Mike? Exactly that. Speaking of diabetes, can pancreas function be reduced because of a subluxation? Mike, you have good questions. Okay. Getting back to there's the philosophy of chiropractic, and the philosophy of chiropractic is that anytime that you can remove stress off the nerves, and like a vertebral subluxation, the definition of a vertebral subluxation is a pair of bones in the spine that are not in their normal juxtaposition with the one above and below, such that they're interfering with the body's ability to transmit nerve impulse. That's a subluxation. So is my pinky subluxated? Listen, I'm going to crack it. Ooh. Let's see if I can crack a knuckle. There it goes. That's a misalignment, or I've just popped a bone and released some air, but it really didn't interfere with nerve interference. So I don't know if that's a subluxated thumb. And the more you study the nervous system and see, especially the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system, and you see that the brain is connected to every cell in the body, anytime that we can remove a vertebral subluxation and remove the stress off of it, you're helping that person. So if you're working on part of the body and let's say it improves the nerve impulse to the pancreas, hey, you're doing them a favor. But if someone came in and said to me, "Doc, I have a bad pancreas, can you adjust me and fix my pancreas?" I'll say absolutely not, because I don't want to claim that I can do that. And I don't think I can. I don't think I can like direct an adjustment to fix the pancreas. Over the years, it's fun to see what does happen, and I would rather be more humble about that as well. For example, I've had people that said, "I haven't had a menstrual cycle in 10 years, and I adjust them, and later that afternoon, they get their period. And they call me on the phone, and they say, "What the hell did you just do?" And I'm like, "I don't know. What did I do?" And they said, "I just got my period for the first time in 10 years after you adjusted my lower back." So it's kind of fun to take credit for that, but I didn't predict it, and I just knew that I was going to look for every spot in the body that I could to reduce stress and maybe optimize the function of that area from the work that I do. But it's fun to see some of that. I do get a lot of vertigo cases, people that are dizzy all the time, get a lot of people with chronic headaches. I've had a lot of people over the years that have had headaches for like 10 months in a row, 7 days a week, every day of their life. And some of those I've helped and some that I haven't. I help a lot of vertigo cases. It's fun to see the ones that you do help. Jay Barry. Hi, Jay Barry. I don't know if you can answer. How much is it for a visit? Well, I play around a lot with my prices. They just went up this year. They were down last year. Right now, my first visit is $200, and it's $85 for a follow-up. Dr. Kathy is less. She's $150 for the first visit and $75 for a follow-up. And all my fees are posted on my website, which is drdougwillen.com, which I'll type in right now, www.drdougwillen.com. Let's see if I anybody else had a question that I missed? I don't mind if you cut and paste it back in there. Mike, where do you live? Mike Ike. 200. I was thinking much more. I'm making an appointment. Oh, thank you. You know, I know that probably seems like a lot, but for New York City, I'm a little underpriced. But you know what? I have my office. I don't work with the upper social stratosphere of New York City. I work with a lot of artists and young actors and dancers and performers. Sometimes they're making great money. They get on a TV show and they make a lot of money in 1 week, but then they don't work again for 30 or 40 weeks. Or they're in a show that's union based, so they're doing well, and then the next year they don't work at all. So I've always tried to keep my prices about 40% less than my market average, and I still am. Someone asked me, what do I think of Dr. Cipriano? I think he's awesome. We've connected before. I don't know him personally. He sent me 2 patients in the last month where someone contacted his office and said, do you know anybody in the New York City area? And he gave them my name. I guess he seen a few of my videos and felt comfortable. About a year ago, I texted him through Instagram, like a DM, and he responded, and seems like a great guy. He's really taken it to the whole level. I mean, he has over 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and I think he got there in about a year and a half. And I've probably made as many videos as he has in the past 10 months, maybe more, and haven't hit 10,000 subscribers. So it makes me scratch my head. I think my videos have a high production value. I guess they're a little short. I think YouTube likes longer videos for this chiropractic thing, and maybe I should make longer videos. But I just try to do what I can do. And when I do these YouTube video ones, usually people line up. So I'll put a post on Instagram and say, I'm doing a free YouTube shoot, and I don't charge for it. So on a Saturday when we're normally closed, I'll show up at 9 a.m. and there's like 30 people that want to do this. They want to shoot a YouTube video, and I'm not going to charge them. It's free. And I have the one person that shoots on my iPhone, and that's how we shoot the video. But we have this really good mic. Oh, let me show it to you. So, it's made by Rode, but this mic has a clip. You're seeing the behind-the-scenes secrets. Now, the clip clips right into your iPhone. Now, I have the case on. I'm not going to take it off right now, but it clips in here, and then it has amazing sound. I bought this at a store called Best Buy, like an electronics store. If you're from the United States, you would know that. But if you were not from the United States, you'd wonder what the hell that is. But I think it was like $80 US. But it works really well. If you ever watch my Instagram adjusting, we usually don't use a mic, and then you won't hear the adjustment very well. But with that thing, we like lean in, and you can really get it to go. Oh, Mike's in New York. Very cool. And Tyler Hanna. Tyler says, is it dangerous to get adjusted a few times a week? I get adjusted 2 or 3 times a week these days because Dr. Kathy, I'm so excited to have a chiropractor in my office that can work on me, and she'll say, do you want an adjustment? I go, yep, I'll take another adjustment. So I love being adjusted. So Andrew said, what about a collaboration with Dr. Brett Jones from Oakland? Dr. Brett Jones seems really good. I would love to be adjusted by him. He does, I don't know the name of it, but when I was in school, we used to call that network chiropractic, and it was invented by a guy named Jeffrey Epstein. So you probably know him a lot better than I do, but it reminds me, I'm not saying that Dr. Brett Jones does network chiropractic invented by Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, but it reminds me of that, where you can work on more than one person at a time and you follow their breathing and you just kind of follow the rhythms of the body. And I've had that done to me before, like that style of chiropractic, and it's wonderful. It's so relaxing and so profound. It relaxes your central nervous system, and you just feel you feel like you just got a 3-hour massage, and while floating in a float tank. He kind of has all of that in there. And I need to learn more about Dr. Brett Jones, but I think he does something, at least in that arena, because he's not just doing, setup and cracking adjustments. But to finish with Dr. Cipriano, he seems, I haven't met him in person, but I watch his videos and admire his platform. He's doing great. Dr. or Mike Ike said, can spinal surgery fusion prevent spinal fluid from flowing freely? This is more of a spiritual question. Have you ever heard of Kundalini energy? Can subluxation or worse, vertebral fusion hinder? When I spent a lot of time traveling in my 20s, so I'm 55 years old now, but when I was in my 20s, I spent over a year traveling around the world, and I spent 5 months in India, and I went to some places to study yoga and meditation, and I learned a little bit about Kundalini meditation, and so I know a little bit about that stuff. I spent some time doing that. I think not so much, Mike. A subluxation is pretty powerful. If you have a subluxation, it's really interfering with flow and life force through your body. But I think other things can do that too. So I think chronic pain. I don't know if any of you have ever lived in chronic pain, but I have. A couple of years ago, I herniated 4 discs in my neck, and I was in chronic pain for almost 10 months. Horrible. And I only missed 1 day of work because I just went in and worked in pain. But I think anything that takes the human body and devastates it will interfere with everything. Like you see older people, they fall and break their hip, and then within 6 months they die. Someone in their 80s. So it's like the beginning of the end. They spiral downhill once they have a fracture. So anytime that our bodies are overwhelmed, whether it's from a vertebral subluxation or chronic pain or he said, or spinal surgery or fusion that interrupts the body's ability to have that flow. Right, the cerebral spinal fluid doesn't get pumped up and down from the little chambers in the brain down the spinal canal to the sacrum and pumped back up again. You're going to lose so much potential in the body. These are things that scare me. I don't really care when I die. I just want to be well until I die. That would be the best. To live as long as you can, as well as you can, and then when the crap hits the fan and you start getting ill or injured or incapacitated, then I guess I just hope I die quick, because I don't want to be in a place where I'm living in misery all the time. Iran X is from the UK. That's really cool. I want to visit the UK soon. I've been there before, but I want to go see some theater. I'm a bit of a theater and TV and film buff, and I love all the acting coming out of the UK, and I want to go catch some plays there and maybe spend a few days. Maybe in November I'll go. 2 years ago I went to Ireland and had a really nice time, and year before that I went to Italy and got to travel a little bit, and I'm trying to take more time off and travel. And what's interesting is I did one of those ancestry DNA things, where you do the little test to see where you're. And I thought that I was 98%, or I thought that I was going to be. My grandparents, I thought, were always from the Ukraine and came over about 100 years ago. But it turned out after doing the DNA that I had 50% was Scottish and Irish, which I never knew. So I go up to my 82-year-old father and I say, how could that be? You told us we were always, Ukrainian and from that part of the world. And he said, oh yeah, well, you knew that you have a set of grandparents that were orphans. I'm like, well, no, you never told me that. And He said, yeah, so their hereditary or their heritage was probably the Scottish Irish that you found in your DNA. So you learned something new. That was just like 2 months ago. Mary Diaz, where's your location? So I'm at 900 Broadway. I'll type it in right now because someone asked me before. 900 Broadway, which is near the Flatiron Building. Suite 403, which is the 4th floor. And that's New York City, 10003. You could put that into Google Maps. Antago. Oral chiropractor is capable of performing the occipital lift. I'm booking an appointment with a chiro in the Netherlands soon. And man, I need that adjustment. To be honest with you, I don't think many do that move. We didn't learn it for we had a very short briefing on that in chiropractic school when I was in chiropractic school. And we learned, as I said earlier, we learned how to do it while you're lying flat on your back. So you lie on your back and you adjust. And I was even showing it a little earlier. I have it on Instagram. Actually, my last few Instagram posts, I'll put up my Instagram handle. Thank you, Blessing. Let's see. Here's my Instagram handle. And I show the occipit lift while someone's lying on their back. So it's not the seated one, which is the more dramatic one, which we see on Instagram and YouTube these days, but it's the one lying on your back. So there's a chance in the Netherlands that they do the lying on the back one, less of a chance that you'll see the seated one. I started playing around with the seated one a lot more. Oh, by the way, when I put in my website before, I forgot com, C-O-M. So it's not .co, it's .com. But the seated one is harder to do. And I was saying before, like Dr. Alex Tubio that is really good at it, and he's on YouTube and Instagram. He's really fast. Speed, like I watch his videos and his technique is great, but it's his speed within his technique that I'm awed by. He's got super fast impulse. So he sets up and he's like, and it just boom. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, boom. At least I feel that way. Well, you guys can watch because the video I put on tonight or last two times was occipital lift. And I think I'm decent at it, but I also think that if I was faster, I'd even be better at it. So you have to work. A lot of times people will ask questions like, well, why don't you do that technique? Or why don't you do this technique? And, we learn all these techniques in school, but a lot of them that we wind up doing throughout our careers are the ones that are within our strengths. So I was a massage therapist before I went to chiropractic school. So I like doing the muscle stuff, and it always made sense to me. I also like touching and telling. Like I feel like I could close my eyes and find where the pain is, and I really can do that. And then the guys that really like X-ray usually gravitated towards Gonstead, and they love analyzing and measuring and taking the protractor out and the ruler and creating angles on the X-ray and studying it and going, this is what makes sense to me. I can see it. I want to now go over to the body and fix it. And that didn't make sense to me. I did well in those classes because I was a good student, but I just didn't have a connection to wanting to analyze X-rays throughout my day and throughout my life. I want to just put my hands on the body and know what to do. So that's what I developed. And what's interesting is I attracted the type of client base that likes that. So people coming to me that like my touch. They like to know that I know where the spot is. And the people that go to Gonstead doctors typically love that they can look at an X-ray and know where the spot is. And I love Gonstead. I mean, I want something on my bucket list is to fly out to Mount Orab, where the original Gonstead clinic is, and it's supposed to be an amazing trip. And I'd love to go get analyzed there and worked on. I'm a big fan of all different techniques. I would love to see Dr. Brett Jones. I would love to see Dr. Cipriano. Love to see Dr. Tubio. I'd like to go meet Dr. Gregory Johnson out at his advanced chiropractic and trade and adjustment with him. I'd like to meet Dr. Jason. All these guys, they all have something to offer, and I'd love to learn from everybody. Mike said, a well-known YouTube chiropractor says the side posture technique, I think it's called that, where you twist the lower back, can cause ligamentous instability. I think Mike, so he's saying, when I put someone on their side and I go and do the lower back thing, I think you have to see who's standing in front of you. Like, I don't do that move on my 80-year-old mother. So my mother comes in and her lower back hurts, and I don't put her on her side and twist her because she's 80. Like, why would I do that? And I don't even shoot a video of that, so you don't see me do it to an 80-year-old. And if I did, let's say I shot 3 or 4 YouTube or Instagram videos with 80-year-olds, and I did it where I put them on their side and cracked their back on the side, you would maybe leave a comment like, oh my God, don't you think you could cause ligamentous instability? And you'd probably be right. I probably could. So there's different levels of invasiveness that is age appropriate. So I have like a lot of, like, the young woman that was on the video tonight, she's probably like 24, 25 years old. And you could do side posture on her and it's not going to bother her. She actually does it to herself. She stretches and she twists and she does that anyway. So if someone gets on their side and they can't even get into that position, I'm not going to even adjust them in that position. But if I ask someone to get on their side and stretch a little bit and I see they already know how to do that, then the force that I'm putting in along the line of the disc and the facets, if it's correct, is just adding to what they're already doing. And then I'm not really worried about ligament instability. So I hope that helped. Mike said, ring dinger is king. I only got a Y strap like a year ago because I always did the head pull with my hands. And then that's how Dr. Hightower does it. He just grabs the head and pulls. So I always did it that way. But a couple of years ago, I herniated disc in my neck and my left arm's not as strong as it used to be. And if you ever watch me adjust the side posture, Mike, I'm not really good on my left arm anymore because it's still a little damaged. So I hide that left arm and I usually adjust with my forearm instead of my hand. Because if I bring my hand up like this, I'll get a pain in my shoulder. So I usually collapse it down and I can usually get it to go. But, I'm working around injuries. Hi, Anna Amaro. Hello. And hi, Robert Thomas. Oh, Robert's coming in. My appointment is March 16th. I can't wait to get adjusted. That'll be nice to see you, Robert. Thank you. So, I have to work around injuries. Getting back to the 80-year-old. So how would I adjust my mother's lower back? Well, I would do it with the activator or the drop. So the table, I have a drop table where the table lifts the pelvis and drops an inch. And you can get on the sacrum, you can create angles, and you can drop through it. And that way you're not working through the ligaments. You're just mostly moving the bone. And it's much safer. So there's it's scalable. You would scale it to the person in front of you. The invasiveness, the intensity, the range of motion, the challenge that you're putting into the body would be, and that's a touch that comes with experience. And I guess I'm been doing this a long time and I don't want to hurt anybody. So I'm always thinking, what's the most challenging or intense way that I can work with this specific person, but still leave them better off and not worse off. So Mike says, I think I might have that actually. Can you just explain? Well, I'll tell you one type of ligamentous instability that happens. And I love this visual. So picture like a basketball or a volleyball, like a ball this big. And you put rubber bands around it. And then you put it in your closet or garage for 9 months. And then you take the rubber bands off. Will those rubber bands ever go back to their original size? The answer is probably not. And that's exactly what happens to a woman when she is bearing a child and is pregnant. So all the little ligaments around her pelvis and her sacrum, they are overstretched for 9 months, and they may or may not ever go back to their normal elasticity and size. So over the years, pregnancy could do that. Maybe not to you, Mike, or me. Age is a variable. Getting out of shape is a variable. So you might go, yeah, I used to work out all the time when I was in high school or college. And, I used to even run cross country or was on the swim team. And now that I'm 35 or 40, I just don't work out as much, or I work out 3 days a week, but I used to do things 6 or 7 days a week. So that shift in how conditioned our body is with age, with sitting at a desk for 20 years in your new line of business that you didn't do as a child, that, more of that lifestyle where we're sitting at desks and being business people, takes its toll on that soft tissue, takes its toll on that ligaments. And over a period of time, those ligaments never are young again. I feel like I feel pretty well for my age, but I feel my age. I'm 55 and I definitely feel achy some days. Like I said, when I work on people, my left shoulder's not really well. Like it's not as strong as it used to be. Part of it's nerve damage. So I work on the ligaments all the time, but I have damaged nerve down my left arm. And but I don't want to stop what I'm doing because I love it. Mike said elderly people make the best YouTube patients because most likely they were never justified by a chiropractor, which means we get to hear wonderful cracks and pops. Yeah, I just can't get as many elderly people that want to be on my YouTube video. It's there's certain generations that love being on YouTube or on their iPhones or on their Androids and be videotaped because that's what they do all day anyway. They're always taking selfies. And then you get someone that's 70 or 80 years old and they're like, why would I want you taping this? They don't want to be taped. So Randy says, is chiropractic care for everybody or only people that have back problems? So it depends who you ask. I mean, some people will say chiropractic care is for nobody because it's a horrible profession and it's not science-based and it's not scientific and no one should do it. So there's that. There's a whole spectrum, and then there's some people that think that chiropractic is only for injuries like sciatic pain, low back, crick in the neck, pinched nerve. There's that. And then there's a whole nother level, which I believe in, but doesn't come across too much in the videos, which is that chiropractic is a type of wellness care that should be in our lives ongoing from, there's a saying, from womb, W-O-M-B, from womb to tomb. So from the time you're born to the time you die. And I think that rings a lot of truth for me, where I want stress taken off my nervous system throughout my life. And it doesn't mean I necessarily have to be cracked the way you see on the video, but I want to be balanced. So I would love a chiropractor to look at me and make sure my body and my skeleton and my nerves are de-stressed and I'm at my optimal level of relaxation, stress-free wellness, where my brain and my nervous system has an opportunity to flow at its highest level of potential for every age that I am throughout my life. And I love that. But it's not for everybody. I probably only have 10% of my office comes in for that reason. I wish it was higher, but maybe 10%. Nuija, which kind of problems cause a short leg? And does this problem usually be on the short side? So when I'm working on someone, I like leg checks. A lot of chiropractors don't do much with leg checks, but I really like it because it shows me, one of the things it shows me is if I relieve some of the stress or I improved it, but it also gives me a quick peek at looking and seeing if that person is balanced or not. And if it isn't, it gives me a starting point. And then I rely on my hands next. But I look down at the feet and one might be pulling a little short, let's say the right side. And right away, I know things I want to check. I want to check the lower back on the opposite side, maybe L4 on the opposite side. I want to check to see if the pelvis is shifted. And I start there. And that's how I was taught. And there's many techniques, but it's one that like connected to me. Plus, I'm good at it. So that was one of the things that I said earlier, if you were on earlier, that there's all these great techniques. Like I have people that say, why don't I do the technique that this other doctor does? Well, the same reason that doctor doesn't do all the techniques that I do, which is we all learn a lot of techniques, and then you do the ones that you gravitate towards. You do the ones that you feel really connected to, and you also do the ones that you're good at. So why would I like do a technique that I wasn't good at? Like, I don't think I would be a great Gonstead doctor, and I respect it. I love Gonstead. but it didn't speak to me. I wasn't connected to it. I don't love staring at x-rays. I don't love figuring it out by x-rays. I love doing it with my fingers and I don't know. And maybe that's not the best. If you're from Gonstead, you might be listening and go, oh my God, I hate that guy. But it's what I love. And I got good at it. I'm good at my technique. I'm good at my office. If you come in, I'm going to do a good job. And if I was a Gonstead doctor, which is that x-ray heavy type of doctor, which I love, I'm not good at that. And someone asked me about Dr. Brett Jones. Dr. Brett Jones is even further in my direction than a Gonstead guy, meaning he's even more energetic and flow and a master at that. And that's probably the one that spoke to him. He probably studied Gonstead like we all do, but he decided the one that talks to his heart is the one that he practices now. So the short legs, I look down and the legs tell me a lot, and I can't really explain it over this little video, but the leg checks is a way for me to see where the stress is on the body. It's a way for me to hopefully detect where a subluxation is, and it gives me a starting point and a reference point to do a pre and post. So after I work on it, I can always come back and look at the legs to see if there's an improvement on that pattern. And is it staying short, or is it less short, or totally even? Let's see. So Mike says it takes money away. Yeah, but in the scheme of things, Mike was saying, maybe it takes money from their pockets. The funny thing is that we're such little minnows in the big ocean, chiropractic. And there's so much money in medicine and allopathic medicine that we're really not a threat. So I always wondered why they even care so much about, and I think it's just because we're popular, but we're not a financial threat to them too much. I mean, a little bit, but not too much, because the big money is still there. They're doing just fine. And I don't think they should worry about us. But I guess they worry about us because we're very popular, and it's the antithesis of what they do. Listen, I'm probably going to end this here. It's time for me to eat. This is the first time I ever did one of these. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I was very concerned whether you'd be able to hear me and see me clearly. And I don't know what happens next. I think it will save it and post onto my YouTube channel. So this might become a video. I'm not sure how that works. Randy says, what is the tapping gun that you use? It seems to work wonders. And Robert said, I can't wait to get the Y strap. So Randy, I'm going to put the website for you to look it up. Okay. It's called activator.com. And it's a adjusting instrument that's been around for 35 years. And it's the most researched instrument in all of chiropractic. And it's worth looking at. I'm proud of it. I mean, I probably get more negative comments about the activator. Well, I don't know. There's a few things I get negative comments about, but the activator, because people think it's a bunch of bull. They think it's bullshit because it's not cracking someone. But my ultimate goal is making someone have an improvement, or having them be in less pain. And I love having more than one tool in my toolbox, because let's say, Mike, for example, let's say I put someone on their side and they scream out in pain. They're like, you can't do this. And they're literally screaming or crying. They're in so much pain on their side because they have a herniated disc and pain down their leg. And it's like a hot wire going down their back. Well, if I was only a back cracker, I'd say, well, Mr. Jones, go to the hospital now and we're done for today because I can't work on you. But I know more than one technique. So I could have them lie on their belly and take the activator out, which is a tapping instrument, which pushes the bone 1 to 5 millimeters, depending on the setting. And a millimeter is really small, but it's enough to take up to 40% pressure off of a nerve. They've done the activator on cadavers, like dead bodies, and they can measure how much it moves bones. So that's kind of cool. And that's some of the research that was done on cadavers and things like that. And I I can sometimes get someone 20, 30% out of pain that I could not lie on their side and do the back crack that makes a good video. But I was so thrilled to know more than one technique and a gentler technique, which could be their portal of entry to getting better. Now, if they are in excruciating pain, I say to them, maybe you should go to the emergency room tonight. But, they give it a few minutes. I put an ice pack on after I adjust them, and they either go to the emergency room or they're like, oh my God, I'm like 40, 50% better already. I'll see you tomorrow. So those are the exciting ones. Vega said, can we have another live stream sometimes? Yeah, if you guys like this, I'll definitely do this. Hello from Toronto. Liger, enjoy your videos. Thank you. Awesome channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you, guys. I am enjoying this. This is fun. And it's good to do this for Vega, too. Vega was my inspiration because she wanted me to try this. Probably I'll be doing these on Sunday nights. So I'll show a video as a live premiere where we can watch it the first time together. That's what I did tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But then right after, I'll open up a live stream. So live premiere means we watch it together, but you don't see me. And then live stream is what we're doing now. And Sunday nights would be good. This Sunday night, I'll be in San Diego. I'm going to a social media conference at the convention center in San Diego, California. And I went last year, and it was really nice for me because I didn't know anything about social media. And there were lectures and workshops all day long at the big convention center. I think 8,000 people showed up last year. And there were lectures on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok. I was mostly just going to the Instagram and YouTube lectures, learning what is happening in those two worlds. So I don't know where I'll go this year, but I decided to go back again, and it's called the Social Media Marketing World. I'll type that in because they have a big website. And I think there's over 100 speakers. But I'm trying to learn more. I'm trying to keep learning. Social Media Marketing World. I'm going by myself. If anybody is going there, say hello to me, and we'll meet and have a coffee or something. Mike is very nice. I hope I get 100,000 subscribers. That'd be really cool. Oh, Liga is in Algeria. Wonderful. I think one of the things I've been enjoying most about this YouTube and Instagram is how international it's become for me. Yesterday, we had 2 people visiting from Cornwall, UK. Last month, I had someone from Saudi Arabia, from Dubai, from Pakistan. I had this guy call us about 8 weeks ago and said, I'm from Hong Kong. I've been watching. I want the Y strap. And I was thinking of going to South Carolina, but I think I would enjoy coming to New York more because then I could see a Yankee game. And so I think this was back in like the fall or November or something. So he caught a Yankee game. I think he went to a Broadway show, and he came 2 days in a row to do the Y strap. And that was only from YouTube. For 20 years before that, no one ever found me from anywhere outside of a few short minutes from my office. So it's fun to see people sometimes connect that way. All right, so I think I'm going to end the stream here. Oh, Laura asked me. So I graduated. Hi, Laura. How long have I been a chiropractor? So I graduated chiropractic school in 1998. And I went to chiropractic school when I was 29 years old. And it was approximately 4 years. And before that, I was a massage therapist, but I did massage at the same time I was pursuing acting. So I was pursuing acting and theater and some stand-up comedy. And I took a lot of dance classes and voice classes and singing, although I was horrible at singing. And at 29, I went to chiropractic school. And I think by the time I was like 33, I became a chiropractor, like licensed. And I've been practicing since, I graduated in 1998, June of 1998. And I enjoy it. I love it. I just wish my body would hold up, not be so achy some days. And Robert said, that's where I found you two, and I'm so glad you're not too far from me. I'm in Pennsylvania. Very nice. If you guys could, please leave me a thumbs up on my video. And comments help too. I think the YouTube algorithm likes comments. So even if you don't have anything chatty, you could just leave a comment of like an emoji with a thumbs up. That counts. So that would be very supportive. And I'm not posting every single day. So last year I was posting 7 days a week, which was really difficult as far as it's time consuming. But a few people that have been mentoring me a little bit on how to do a better job with YouTube said that 7 days a week might be too much. Now, a few people go, oh, not for me. I could watch it 7 days a week. But I also was getting unsubscribes, and now I'm not getting any unsubscribes. I'm just getting subscribes with not anybody feeling like I'm hitting their inbox too much. So I'm trying to post 2 to 3 days a week. And right now that's working for me. So that's about my pace. Good night, everyone. Oh, look, my shirt came unbuttoned again. You see, you got like a little clickbait there. There you go. Thanks, everybody. Good night.